setting low on a hometown track. Dust rolling up like a freight train stack. Cooler in the bed of a beat-up Ford. Crowds getting loud cause they know what's in store. Engines rumbling like a southeast storm. Another wild night where new legends are born. Grab your hat, grab your girl, feel that grandstand shake. Everybody knows this ain't no small town state. Cause we're full throttle Thursday night at them big bright lights, rubbing doors, riding high, leaning hard through every fight. From the backstretch to turn forward, fans holler for more and more. Ain't nothing beats that heartbeat racing. Yeah, this is iNRS racing.
All right, folks, welcome to Thursday night here, and that means we are in the iNRS Racing Series, and this is opening night. This is the race for the duels in anticipation of next week's Daytona 250. Thanks for tuning in to the IWM broadcast channel. I'm Rick Souza here with Jeff Needy in the broadcast booth, and Jeff, it's been 2 months, and we're finally back into racing.
And I'm excited, man. It's going to be a great night here at Daytona. We've got so many new things. You were showing me before we went live with the broadcast, a lot of new graphics, a lot of new looks that we can see, a lot of different logos and settings and all this kind of stuff. Same great racing, but, you know, there's one thing that we cannot say any longer, and that's he punched his ticket to the playoffs.
Yeah,
that one went away. So
that's all changed.
Yeah, there's so many changes now with NASCAR rulings and the way that they're doing the chase, back to the chase again, and all the new technical things with the broadcast. It's going to be a learning experience, but it's going to be a lot of fun while we get to watch some great racing.
Well, thanks for tuning in, folks. We've got nearly 40 drivers tonight here in the iNRS Racing Series here in Daytona. Tonight, we've got the duels. That means this field will go to qualifying, and then this field will be split into two 30-lap sessions based on their positioning from qualifying. And then from there, their finishes in the duels will transfer to the Daytona 250 next Thursday night. So this league does give you a preview, a chance to watch what's going to happen in Daytona here on Thursday nights. We hope that you'll watch on every Thursday night. We will have every single race that you see coming up in the the NASCAR Cup Series will be here in the iNRS Racing Series. So we've got a lot to show you. The drivers are they're raring to go, getting ready for tonight's event. They've been practicing on the track. A lot of new drivers. There's a lot of new drivers, and for those new drivers, if we butcher your name here in the broadcast booth, feel free to comment. Let us know directly. We'll do our best to adjust either on the fly or certainly by next week. So let us know. Most of these folks, it's pretty self-explanatory, but hey, I guarantee you we're going to mess something up.
And I'm the worst culprit when it comes to that. I'll take one guy and pronounce his name 5 different ways during one broadcast. So I will try to improve, I promise.
Again, we are just a few minutes away from the practice qualifying session. The practice session to end, and then we'll go right into qualifying. We're probably just a few minutes away. I thought we were going to go qualifying at 8:55 p.m. Eastern, but I think that maybe we've got another minute or so before we do so. So we'll just see how this all plays out. We'll play it by ear. But again, we've got 39 drivers in the session at this moment, and we're looking forward to getting these guys on the track for qualifying. Again, it's Daytona, so really the first race is going to be the first qualifying lap is the most important one here in Daytona. So let's talk a little bit about what we do know on the race information for tonight. We've got 30 laps per duel. Tires aren't going to matter. This is a no fast repair league, Jeff. That means that you break it, you own it. If you wreck the car, just like on Sunday, you're in trouble. You've got to wait for repairs to be made by those iRacing fairies and elves, or not. You're packing up the hauler and going home.
Yeah, absolutely. In addition to the no fast repairs, we've got 3 attempts at a green-white checker should we need those. And really one of the most important things I think here is the fuel window. 28 to 32 laps. That's at green flag full throttle racing. And sometimes drivers will play games, especially in the real life Cup Series. But also here in the iRacing series, you'll see things like that. But that fuel window is going to play a big role in when these guys will, not so much here in the duels, but when we get to the Daytona 500, that's going to play a big factor.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, as we said, these are 30 lap dual events. So is fuel going to be a factor? Maybe not. I doubt it in this round, but you just never know. So we'll play it by ear, and if that does become a factor, we'll do our best to point it out. You can see on track right now. Let's get that graphic out of the way. A lot of these guys are team racing, so you've got a lot of paint schemes looking a little interesting there. So we can bring up some teammates there. Right now with Short Fuse Racing, there's a lot of guys running very similar paints there. And we'll do our best to try and figure out who's who.
Yeah, that is going to make it very difficult for us as we're watching this on a small screen, and trying to read those numbers as they come around sometimes can be pretty difficult at that speed.
So that blue group that's Short Fuse Racing, that's Corey Ennis, Jacob Musso, Joe Musso, Eddie Musso Jr., and then you've got Short Fuse Motorsports 2, and then you've got Garrett Walden, Jordan Wenzel, Zach Carter. A lot of these names you've heard us here calling out year after year, so a lot of familiarity here. We're excited to see these guys get back on track.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been kind of withdrawals there after the season finale last year at the end of the season. And I've really been looking forward to getting back in the seat again, getting back to racing. I've been busy this off season and haven't had much chance to get in my rig and drive much. So to at least be able to get back here and be around racing and in the broadcast, it's a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to tonight.
One of the things to definitely watch out for, this is a super speedway track like Talladega and for that matter, Atlanta, but this track, if you've got to go into the pits, you're looking for your teammates, or you're definitely looking for some dance partners, because if you're going in that pit and you're by yourself, you know you're coming out and you're in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. Drafting is the name of the game here, and if you have to come out, I mean, it can be a 5 or 6 second per lap difference in time in what it takes you to get around this track. If you're running by yourself, you have no hope of catching everybody.
Absolutely. All right, so we're probably not far away, or guessing we're going to start moving over to that qualifying session. And just so Jeff, a new rule for iNRS this year is, I know we posted that information on that fuel window, but this year they're at 100% fuel, so there's no more calculations. We've got 18 gallons of fuel and a full load of fuel here, and that translates into a lot more laps than we've seen in the past. We'll have to get out our fuel calculators and work on that. For this race, not really a big deal. For future races here, it'll be an interesting number. You can go more. It's not going to be so much a fuel strategy race often. They can use that full tank of fuel to maybe take some of that out of the game.
Yeah, these duels, they serve really multiple purposes. They use them for, qualifying purposes for the Daytona 500, where you line up in the field, but also these are really great practice sessions because you get to see what your car feels like in traffic. And it's not a full field, but with 18, 20 cars out there, that gives you a very good feel of what your car does in traffic. You also get to look at what some of the other drivers are doing, how they're handling, how their car works, and what you can expect from them as far as, are they aggressive, or do they hang back a little bit, are they very safety conscious? So as qualifying or practice comes to an end right now, these guys are going to qualify to see where they line up in their particular duel.
All right, looks like practice has ended, and we're about to head on over to qualifying. And based on that recalculation at full fuel, if they were to just go out and run it anywhere between 38 and 42, depending on where they're actually sitting in the whether they're out in front or whether they're happy to be in the back, and at half or three-quarter throttle, you can save some fuel.
Absolutely, you can. It's the cars are starting to get out on the track now. There's the 25 of Jacob Musau. I say their name different every time. It's Musau, Moso.
I think from what I heard from those guys, Musso is where it's at. So
Musso.
We'll stick with
I
Musso.
will try to get that, guys. I apologize.
So right now we're on with 25 of Jacob Musso as he is attempting his qualifying lap. We'll as soon as we get a number of laps in, we'll bring up that tower and get you the best time numbers.
You'll see these cars, like right now you see Jacob Musau was running the high line during that warm-up lap, and now that he's on the clock, he's right down on the bottom next to that yellow line. During qualifying, shortest way around is at the bottom, and shortest way is the fastest way.
And one of the things we'll keep an eye on is, when these races are underway, will be whether that inside line works, whether that outside line is working. We'll see how drafting plays out. There's been a new release of the Chevrolet Camaro body, and that has certainly changed the aerodynamics. We've seen how that has played out. We'll be watching that as these drivers will be seeing how they make their way around this track and how it plays nicely with others. So that's all new for 2026.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. I know they changed the nose on them a little bit, and hopefully it makes them push a little better, and you don't have quite as much pushing a teammate side to side or pushing a drafting partner side to side as much. And then hopefully that means that the guy in front has a little better control of the car when he's being pushed. and we won't see quite as many accidents out there.
All right, seeing some good numbers starting to come in right now. The 25 of Jacob Musso is still holding on to the best time tonight with a 50.311.
Yeah, and I remember when we were looking at packs that were drafting in practice, they were running about 45 seconds a lap. So you can see there what we were talking about earlier, the difference between running solo and running in a pack, about 5 seconds tonight. Eric Jeffers out there in that number 12, currently in second position. Oh, just dropped to third. That's one of the things at Daytona. Those positions change rapidly, especially in the race, but we see it even in qualifying here.
All right, again, let's cover some race information here. Again, we've got two 30-lap sessions that will be here on track. Again, those drivers will be split apart based on their qualifying into each of those separate groups. We'll see how it all plays out and where they'll compete in these groups. And then again, once this night is over and the results of these two dual races are done, that will play into their placement in next week's Daytona 250.
Yeah, the duels are always fun. I have never got to see them live in person, but have always wanted to. That's still on my bucket list. But you see, guys, I mean, where you start in the Daytona 500 doesn't make that big of a difference like it does on a short track. But these guys are still there's a lot to say for bragging rights. So these guys are going to go out there. They're going to give it everything they have in these dual races, and to give themselves the best possible chance when it comes to the 500.
Well, there's about a few minutes left of qualifying here. I'm not sure if this was a 5-minute session for qualifying or 10, but we'll see how it all plays out, and we'll bring it to you. A lot of drivers have already gotten their qualifying. I'm looking through the charts right now. Just a handful of drivers still on track qualifying. I think this is Paul Irvin, Chattanooga, Tennessee, out there from the WLT2 race team.
Yeah, Lucas Gortman now has moved up to fast lap, 50.279.
That's a smoking
Jacob
time.
Musso, yeah, Jacob Musso. When we talked about him earlier, he had run a 50.31, so about a half a tenth different. It's amazing to me. These guys are going 2.5 miles or little, right at 2.5 miles around this track in their qualifying lap, and still, there's maybe a half a tenth or a tenth separating the times of all the cars, and it's just phenomenal to me that not just that the cars are that consistent, but the drivers are that consistent. You've got great talent out there, able to pick them up and put them down on the high banks of Daytona. Yeah, as I look at the qualifying times, there's at best 6 to 7 tenths from first to last. That's it. So great consistency among these drivers and among these cars.
All right, just a few drivers yet to post their time. One is Dakota Reeder, who's currently on track now. Dakota is with the KPR Motorsports team, himself and Brian Jones. And we've done our best to try and get these teams. If you're with the team and we don't show your graphic or have you correctly, if you go back and watch the race, reach out to the broadcast team. We'll do what we can to make those adjustments here. So We waited to the very last moment to update the individual car graphics. The very, very last moment. So.
Much later than you would have liked, I assume.
It's quite possible that was the case.
Jeff Ramsdale out there in the 97 right now, currently in 23rd position.
Jeff's with IRFK Racing.
Got that nice looking Mustang there, that black and gold.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of great paints out there. We'll try to feature some of that as not only tonight's event goes on, but in future races. Also, one other thing that this league does is there's a lot of specialty events, whether it's patriotic or 9/11 memorial races or other things that they'll do throughout the season to get some customized paints and some theme events to some of these races. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. These guys. The fun thing about this league is they're serious about their racing. They're serious about putting on a good show for the fans, for the people that are watching our broadcast. But they also enjoy it. They have fun. They put a lot of effort into making these just great entertainment, great racing, and making people that are watching glad that they invested the time to sit down and watch a race. And I've been very impressed last season with the driving ability of most of the drivers in this league. That they really put their all into it, and they got some really talented race car drivers.
So got a lot of good comments in the YouTube chat channel. Someone just let us know that I think that's Gary Wells, that the 97 that Jeff Ramsdale is running is a throwback to Greg Biffle's 2007 AmeriQuest car that he ran in the Daytona 500. I'm sure most of you are aware that unfortunately through an aviation incident, unfortunately Greg Biffle and his family lost their lives. It's a pretty sorry event here in the Carolinas. We and I guess all those who are NASCAR fans, it was a pretty sad event. So.
Absolutely, great job by Jeff Ramsdale to do that Greg Biffle tribute. I love that.
All right. So what we do know is that this field is broken apart. Let's see how this all plays out. Gridding up already. Let's go ahead and grab the grid. Come on, drivers.
I love some of these new graphics here.
Trying to get to a car here. Here we go. All right, so let's bring up our grid for tonight's event. Start us off,
There,
Jeff.
You see it right there. Row 1, Lucas Gortman, Darrell Young Jr. In row 2, got Keith Fonseca and Matthew Wheeler in 3rd and 4th. Eric LaBombard Jr. and Dakota Reeder there. Now in row 4, we've got Alec Daffin and Jacob Musow. Row 5, Tyler Lem and Eric Jeffers. Row 6, got Josh Douglas, Joe Torres. Row 7, Kenan Shade and Corey Ennis. And in row 8, P15 Garrett Walden alongside Austin Walton.
All right, row 9, you've got Jordan Wenzel and Ryan McClurg. Row 10 has Paul Irvin in P19, and the outside you got Eddie Musso Jr. in P20. In row 11, Kai Collmore and Joe Musso to the outside. Row 12, Vince Burns and Jeff Ramsdale. Row 13 has Zach Carter and Matthew Patak. And I'm just guessing that's how you say his name. Row 14, Brennan McKee and Nolan McClurg. Row 15, Mike Wheel and Jacob Phillips. Row 16, Grady Gherkin and Cody Sandlin. Row 17, James Klaus and Brian L. Jones. Row 18 is going to be Gary Wells and Shane Trotter. Row 19, Tony Japs and Clark Franz. And row 20, and bring up the rear of the event, Chase Berry. And that may not be a bad place to start here as we get this race underway.
Absolutely. Love those new graphics, the way we can do the starting positions now. That looks really nice.
All right, as folks have said in the chat, it has been a long 2 months. We're excited to get back and call this race. Looking forward to seeing what these teams.
Backstretch there.
Yeah, let's bring up that track graphic so we can actually see just where they are.
Yeah, you see them coming through turn 3 there. They'll make their way into turn 4 shortly, and then make their way down to the start-finish line in the middle of the dogleg.
We'll see that pace car drop off momentarily as these drivers get out of the turn 4 exit. And I'll apologize up front, folks. I'm dealing with that cold and flu that's going around, and bear with me here in the booth. All right, Barney's got the flag raised, and we are under green here at Daytona.
Good clean start there as they make their way. Daryl Young, Lucas Gortman making their way down into turn 1 now.
39 drivers competing here in Daytona for their best starting spot in next week's Daytona 250. All right, 2x2 action here as that inside line has a slight advantage. We saw this in some earlier racing this week where that outside line was not able to get moving as much, but you saw that third place driver, I think that's Daryl. I could be wrong. As fast as we call out these numbers, it's going to change. But that's the 58 there. That appears to be Eric Lombard Jr., who finds himself now leading that outside pack and with a nose out in front of that lower line, leading Lucas Gortman.
That's one of the biggest challenges here at Daytona is reading the momentum, because as you just saw, that inside line had the momentum. Those cars were going faster than the cars on the outside line, and now look, it's reversed completely. And that 58 Eric Lombard Jr., he read that perfectly. When he made that jump from the inside line to the outside line, I thought, holy cow, that was risky, but boy, he timed it perfectly, caught that momentum, and now you see it's reversed again. The inside line's really charging, and fortunately for Eric, he was able to get down to that line and stay out in front. Now has a good, solid lead.
Oh, Commander, there's a wreck going on in the back.
Caution is out.
Trying to get back and see. That looks like Jordan Wenzel involved in this multi-car incident here. 96. Also, I think that's Mike Wheel involved. Number of drivers there. Let's try to go back and take a look at that. Bear with us here as we dissect what's happened.
That's one of the tough things about Daytona and the other super speedways is usually when there's an accident, it's not very often a single car. Here comes the replay now, and we'll see what happened.
All right, we're focusing on back in the pack. We'll see if we can get a better angle here. Letting this incident develop. We're focusing on the 81 of Jordan Wenzel. What happened to Jordan on that low side? You're right there, there.
Yeah, looks like cars in front of him got bottled up,
And
and
unfortunately, he got
you
bumped.
see him. Yep. He gets up into the back of it, and then somebody gets into the back of him.
Yep, absolutely. Unfortunately, the victim of circumstance. He read the room there, and unfortunately,
Yep.
he checked up, and the car behind. I'm not sure who that actually is. That red paint scheme there was not able to check up in time, and unfortunately collected the 81 and sent him around. A number of drivers, unfortunately, also dealing with that. So. All right, a little bit of drama here as we get into uh, just a few
Oh
laps.
man.
That's lap 3
You
here. So
saw the '09 there. Just he got down onto the apron, was minding his own business, staying out of trouble, and then a car, I couldn't catch the number of it, but came backwards down the track, downhill, and spun him around. Did hit some damage to that '09 car as well.
absolutely.
So you're going to see some cars come in now that the pits are open. Guys that have gotten damage are going to come in.
Yeah,
A
number of
lot of cars
drivers.
staying out.
Yep. A number of drivers on pit road here. Caution is out here. Here at lap 5. That's the 81 of Jordan Wenzel on track.
Jordan, one of those guys that was really in the hunt last season, had a good season going. It looks like from right now P25 on back, so about 14 cars on pit road.
All right, he's got some damage he's trying to get repaired. Unfortunately, the 81 is trying to get some damage repaired there.
Yeah, the way that accident worked out, he unfortunately he's going to have front end and rear end damage, and that's boy that makes it tough here at Daytona, where just the slightest little bump on your nose can affect your aerodynamics in a big way.
All right, field is out there. That's Eric Lombard in that number 1 position. Currently under caution here in the iNRS Racing Series.
When we go back to green, you're going to see that 58 out in first place, LeBombard. Behind him, we've got Daryl Young, Dakota Reeder, Matthew Wheeler, Lucas Gortman make up the top 5. Then Keith Fonseca, Tyler Lim, Alec Daffin, Jacob Musow, and Josh Douglas. That makes up your top 10. Some of you might see the tower graphic there on the left side of your screen, and you see those names changing positions, and you say, wait a second, they're not supposed to change under caution. But iRacing is giving us those positions in real time. So if somebody lags back on the scoring chart, they're going to drop a position, even though in actuality they've not. So if they're running 6th under caution, they are in 6th the whole time, but the graphics are going to adjust as if they were running green flag laps.
All right, so we have been notified that how this is going to work is that it's one event, and the admins for next week's event will break this finish apart into groups, and that will work on how they actually place for next week's starting order. So hey, you got a short 30 lap event here. Every car is out there. We'll see how it all works out when they transfer this information into next week's Daytona 250.
Yeah, that one kind of threw me for a little bit, because when we talk about the duels, I was expecting half the field in the first race and half the field in the second, and I wondered how they were going to do that.
Yep, they'll take the top 10 finishing order and kind of translate that into the top 20. So we're back underway here in Daytona. 24 laps to go here in our placing race for next week's Daytona 250. Eric Lombard out in Lombard. I'm going to say that correctly. Lombard. I don't know. We'll have to get with Eric and apologize.
I'm going to go with Lombard, like La Bamba, only an ard on the end. Lombard.
Yep. We'll give it that. That sounds perfect.
However Eric pronounces his last name, he's doing a great job at holding on to that first position. That's 58 is staying out front. You see how tight these guys are racing. That 71 is right on his tail. Darrell Young Jr. taking a great shot there.
Three wide behind there. Oh, boy. Back and look here. You see for a while there, they were 3 wide battling here. You could do 3 wide here at Daytona, but you better trust your neighbors.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not quite as wide as it is at Talladega. You have a lot more forgiveness room there. Here, running 3 wide, like you said, Rick, it can be done, but it's tough, and you have to put some trust in your drivers that you're running alongside.
Yeah, potentially the opportunity for a lot of hurt feelings back there. This is mid-pack, somewhere about position 21 here. As they make their way crossing the start-finish line with 22 laps to go. Eric Lombard still out in front.
It's really interesting to me how the draft works, because right now, fastest lap is been run by the 15 car of Brennan McKee, but Brennan's in 25th position, so fastest lap doesn't mean necessarily you're going to be at the front. But what it might mean is that you were lagging back and you were able to gain on all the other cars in front of you, because that draft will suck you forward and ends up putting you up there in that fastest lap category that Brennan has been hanging on to for several laps now.
Here's a shot from the onboard camera of the number 10 Matthew Wheeler with IRFK Racing. He finds himself right there pushing. I think that's Darrell Young in the 71 to the front there, nosing out in front of Eric. The onboard graphics, so you see Matthew's been as high as P3, low as P6, but he's right there in P2.
Well, you can see they're hitting the limiter too, or the red line on the straightaways there. It gets down to the end of the straightaway, and that tack's holding red.
Shot from the flagman's position. He gets a great view as these drivers race by at nearly 200 miles an hour. You see the pack's kind of broken apart a little bit. There's a bit of a gap. Trying to find where that is. I think that's right around 25, 28, somewhere in there. There's a second pack led by Jordan Wenzel back here. Who drops out a little bit gets below the yellow line and decides to hang back. I think he's heading towards the back of that pack. Well, I take that back. That wasn't Jordan that dropped back. I think that was Joe Musso who decided to play it safe. We see that often, don't we, Jeff? You're out there, you got a lot of bumping and banging. You're at 200 miles an hour, and you're thinking, whoa, this is a little crazy.
Yeah. Some guys think discretion's the better part of valor and just pull over to the apron and let everybody pass them by and just don't lose enough speed. You want to be able to hang on to the tail end there. A lot of movement up front. Really throughout the pack, but especially about 10th position, give or take 5 spots, and cars moving around. A lot of aggressive moves. Guys jumping up into that third outside lane, making quick moves, and that really you've got to do that. You can't do a lazy move here.
Right now, you've got 3 wide. Daryl Young out in front. As that front position gets a little bit open, but he's got a freight train of 3 lines racing behind him, all looking for a way to get in front.
Yeah, and only 18 laps to go. It's starting to get dicey a little earlier than I expected, but guys at the back, especially in this front pack, the guys that are at the back of the front pack are still close enough that if they make all the right moves, they can get to the front. But it's making all those moves and making the passes stick that is the difficult part.
Well, and also hoping that you make those right moves and no one else makes the wrong move that impacts your race.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to put a lot of trust in your fellow competitors. You've got to also trust your instincts. Boy, you see a lot at the back of this lead pack. A lot of movement back there. Guys jumping, changing lanes, trying to pick up a spot here, spot there, and that really, in actuality, that's how you get to the front.
Look at back, that 3 wide is kind of broken apart a bit as we take a bigger shot. A lot of drivers have said, "Oh, I'm just going to back off."
Yep. See one guy out there. Nope. Now he moves down into the middle line.
Looking at some of the big gainers here, you see the 24 of Close has picked up 24 spots and finds himself in 9th. Kai Collimore as well. He's up there. So I was saying wrecking going on.
There we go. Somebody
Caution.
Hard into that outside safer barrier.
Flown. Oh, there it is.
Big
Caution.
Hard hit.
Yep.
Big hard hit down on the apron too. Yeah, a lot of cars impacted in that, unfortunately.
All right, we're trying to get a feel for just what brought out that yellow flag. Yeah, just talking about the 24 broadcaster's curse, James. Sorry about that. Let's see if we can go back and see just what happened here. The 24. I think it's up on that outside, right there.
Oh, yeah.
39 of that's
39.
Kai Collimore. That car turned down right in front. Can't see a number, but unfortunately that collects the 45, and a number of other cars are involved. 9.
He doesn't have a number on that car. It's not that we can't see the number. There is no number.
Oh, jeez. So he's locked it up there, sliding down the track.
And this is where they had that hard impact down on the apron. You see him come down there and get into the side of that other car.
Well, that's
unfortunate.
Didn't see the
number on that one either.
All right, second caution here, lap 16 of 30, just past the halfway point here tonight. Again, folks, we thank you for tuning in tonight to the IWM broadcast channel, bringing to you the iNRS Racing Series opening event here at Daytona. We appreciate if you have an opportunity to subscribe to our channel, click that button and we'll bring you reminders each and every week of here and also other events we do cover. Another series we do cover is on Wednesday nights also, but they'll be 1 week behind. So you can see Daytona here on Thursday, Daytona on Sunday, and then Daytona all over again on Wednesday. So we'll get your full of what you'd like to see. All right, number of drivers now making their way down onto pit road.
We talked a little bit ago about Brendan McKee having that fastest lap of 45.575. And he was in 25th position at the time. And this is what you can do with drafting. He's all the way up to 15th now, and has been making that fast car work well for him.
Yeah, fast. The best lap so far, as you indicated, was Brendan McKee, and you got Grady Gherkin right there in the second. James Klaus, we were just talking about it, Brian Jones and Clark France, all turning in extremely fast laps here at Daytona.
Chase Berry in that 17 Toyota has, at this point in the game, is our biggest gainer. He's up 18 spots. We had somebody there, Matthew Paddock or Patak.
But I'm going with
17. Patak.
That's how I would say it.
Okay. And then Brian L. Jones in that number 4 Ford is up 15 spots right at the moment. So those guys making good grounds. Unfortunately, we have some on the other end as well, and we won't embarrass them by talking about that.
All right, but yeah, your biggest movers right there, as Jeff had indicated. There's your top 5 drivers who have the biggest movers right there. So.
Yep, I love that graphic. Now, Rick won't toot his own horn, so I'll toot it, but he has put hours upon hours upon hours into coding some of this new look that you're seeing, some of these new graphics. We're excited about being able to tell the story better with using visuals to do it. And
I won't take all that credit. In fact, for the most part, I relied on a gentleman, an unsung hero named Shane Cochran, who is a fabulous graphic designer and coder in the broadcast software that we use. He has pretty much brought this race to life. We're able to take what he has developed and bring it, and as part of the IWM broadcast channel, bring this to you. So kudos to Shane and what he has been able to put together. So a lot of credit to him, and also the folks at SDK. They're our graphic partner here on the IWM broadcast channel, and just fabulous way. Again, as Jeff indicated, to be able to tell the story better to help illustrate what's happening on track.
Guys are lined up double wide now, getting ready for the restart, going up the back straight here at Daytona. We'll be going back green flag racing here any moment. They're shaping up now. Pace car is off. And Alec Daffin is going to lead them out of that restart zone. Here we go.
Back underway here, a lap with 12 laps to go. 18 laps in the books. Alec Daffin with WLT2 Motorsports leads this pack.
I find it interesting that as these guys all make their break down there through turns 1 and 2, Eric LeBombard does not have a team affiliation at this point. We only have a few drivers that are like that, so he doesn't have any built-in drafting partners. He's doing this on his own, trying to make friends and not make enemies as this race progresses.
Number of drivers remain in the pits trying to get repairs made. That's Joe Torres, Grady Gherkin, and Shane Trotter all in the pits trying to get repairs made. This field is broken apart.
You talked earlier about the team racing, and we have so many different teams that it's tough keeping track of everybody. But fortunately, the new graphics allow us to do that. But also, you'll see these guys searching for one another out there on the track. They want to get next to one of their other teammates because here we
contact
there we go.
Going around.
43 is around.
That's Garrett Walden.
Does a great job keeping it off the wall. He and the 12 got connected there.
Caution does fly. The 43 of Garrett Walden winds up spinning through the grass.
Unfortunately, that's going to drop those guys quite a ways down in the field.
I think Corey Ennis was also involved. Go back and take a look at what happened to the 43 of Garrett Walden. To back that up just a little bit, because that's kind of developed prior to.
I just heard Clark Franz take credit for part of that because he led off, didn't give somebody a chance to get back in there. Or you see him come around in that 43 and
see those larger roof flaps come up, which helps keep that car's all four wheels on the track. In prior years, that would have that car would have been airborne.
Yeah. A lot of voice activity on the driver's channel. These drivers can talk to one another on the iRacing in-car radio system. And nobody quite sure, it seemed like, from what I could hear, what happened there. I'm sure they'll get it sorted out later on. A lot of these guys will go back and watch this race and watch particular sections of it like that. Okay, what did I do here? What could I have done differently? These drivers put a lot of time. You don't just sit down and get good at this your first or second try. You think, us guys, we all think we're good drivers, but the guys that are really good are the guys that really put the time into it. They practice, they study, they learn. That's constantly learning. That was one thing I heard on NASCAR radio today, a driver talking about the opportunity to learn. No matter what track they're on, he says, I learn something new every race. And that's what it takes. It takes that kind of a commitment to get good.
Just bringing up a point that Brantley Rodden brings up in the YouTube chat, that that for this year you got new A flaps as well. Another innovation that has helped to keep these cars on the track and not in the air.
Yeah, and we just saw a great example of that. We see also that the 58 of Eric LeBombard Jr. has found his way back to the front again. And he is deciding tonight, I think, that he likes super speedway racing. He's been up near the front all night long, held onto that lead for quite a bit, and just doing a really bang-up job tonight of keeping his car where it needs to be.
I think they actually introduced that new that A-pillar flap at the end of last year, sometime mid last year, but we're seeing it here in iRacing on these new cars.
Yeah, iRacing always at the end of the season will do a lot of work on making sure the cars on the simulator are in step with the cars that are on the track in real life. Those guys do just a phenomenal job at the upkeep when you figure how many cars, how many tracks, and they do a bang-up job of keeping things up to snuff and keeping you can tell when, because you talk to or listen to the drivers in the Sunday Cup Series talk, and most of them are very active on iRacing. They get on, they use that as another form. It's relaxation to them, but it's also another way of learning. Another way of seeing how the car might react in certain situations. I know, Rick, you and I have had the chance to race with a few of those guys through the
Oh yeah.
years, and it's unbelievable to me how fast they are.
Yep.
You know, just when I think I'm pushing that car to its limits, and they're pulling away, it's amazing the talent level.
Yeah, I was in a truck race in I think my first or second year here on iRacing. I wound up with Hermie Sadler in an event, and he just blew our doors off. He just crushed us. So
Yeah, we had that same thing happen with Ty Gibbs and a couple of his buddies. Sammy Smith was one of them
yeah,
that I think drove for Dale Jr. And they were in a league of their own. I mean, we had some good drivers that we were
yeah.
racing with, and those guys just put on a show and just smoked us all.
All right, so that's our third caution of the night. Just a handful of laps left here. This is lap 24 of 30. We'll just have a few laps to complete this event, and again, this sets the field for next week's Daytona 250.
Yep, you see our top 10 there as they get ready. The cars are double file, set for the restart. Eric Lombard Jr. is going to lead them to green here as they come out of turn 4.
All right, 5 to go once we get this green flag on this restart.
These 5 laps will go fast if we can keep it green.
That'll always be the challenge. At this point, it's you've got just a handful of laps to go before you get this race over. That flag drops. It's green again with Eric Lombard out in front, Alex Daffin in second, Daryl Young in third, Keith Fonseca in fourth, and Keenan Shade right there in fifth.
You got Kai Collymore in 6th. 7th is Matthew Patak. Nolan McClurg in 8th. Lucas Gortman 9th. And Tyler Lim round out the top 10. See some lane switching there on the back straight. Trying to get out in front of that second line. That second outside line just not quite as well formed up. But they've got a little bit of momentum here, and they're coming forward. Let's see if they can maintain. Whoa!
Yeah, a little bit
There
of
was one of those.
there.
Ooh, man.
We're
That
looking
was
right
close.
now, trying to give you some details on Kai Collymore. We've seen Kai in previous years, but great start here. Currently running in 6th. He started 21st. He's made up a lot of positions here to get towards the top 10.
Yeah, great run by Kai. And that outside line there had a good run going, and then they stalled for a little bit. Now they're trying to get organized, get that back up there again. Trying to see which car. Oh, now trying to see which car is leading that outside line.
I think that's either Alec Daffin or it's Keenan Shade.
And now Eric Lombard jumped out there, but that gave Alec Daffin the opportunity he needed to push ahead, and now they switch again. So you see these two lines. You got to be in the right place at the right time, and it's a guessing game, but it's a guess based on facts.
I think that 45 of Keenan, I think it's Skade, S-C-H-A-D-E, could be Skade. Right there he is on the low side, but the high line, it starts with the 71. That is Daryl Young. He's got that
The
outside
84.
line, and now
Yeah.
the 84 had slipped up, took the spot, whether he stalled that line out and then dropped back down. That's one thing we don't know. We'll hear from the drivers later in the post race whether the side drafting was as vicious as we think it is. But certainly you can see these drivers battling back and forth to take control of those lines. See the 58 of Eric Lombard out in front with the 39 of Kai Collabor out there as well.
Yeah, now that inside line's dropping back a little bit. They're losing the momentum.
Well, and we're three wide.
Yeah.
Deeper in the field as these guys are.
61 car. 61 car jumps to the outside.
Just 3 laps to go, and if you're going to make a move, now is the time to do it, and hope you've got some friends to help you.
You do. You see Alec Daffin just looking, kind of jogging back and forth behind our leader, Eric Lombard, just trying to figure out when's the time to make the move.
A little bit of action. They're wrecking. We got action back here.
There it is.
Caution flies again, and it's the big one, folks. There's lots of cars involved, lots of damage. It's just
man, they're still wrecking. Still wrecking.
It's awful. I can't tell you. It'd almost be easier to say who wasn't involved in this one.
Wow.
Ryan McClure involved. Looking back here, Jordan Wenzel, Tony Japs, Brendan McKee, Josh Douglas involved. That caution has brought out a number of. Unfortunately, here
that's going to put us in a green white checker situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Fortunately for the guys clear up at the front, they weren't affected by that. But boy, just about everybody else was. I was looking at my timing and scoring screen while that was taking place, and it looked like a light show. Just things flashing and moving and jumping around. It was, man, guys everywhere on the track at that point.
So we'll go back and try and pick up, see just who was involved. We'll do our best to try and pick a replay point here. We may so iRacing does give us a number of unique angles here that are outside of what you can see on Sunday. Try to stick to the more
See, in that middle lane, you see guys getting really touchy there.
Right there, you see a little bit of smoke and someone turning. Trying to come up and get a better feel for just who was involved in that as we try to get a little closer.
Looks like a Ford Mustang.
I see that.
I can't make the number out, though.
It says Tex Red Cross. That's all I can see there. We'll see if we can go forward a little bit more. I see the 27 is involved, and what looks like the 6. That 27 belongs to Corey Ennis, and the 6 is by, if my numbers are correct, that's Lucas Gortman are tangling up there. And unfortunately, I think that was the impetus to what took us out. You see the 99 go up.
Yeah.
Then once they do, the 21 gets involved, the 96, the 6 goes around. And of course, when that happens, all heck breaks loose.
Oh, yeah, everybody's in it there. You see the 6s around. 9 gets tagged. The 34 gets run down to the apron. Yep. 43 is trying to stay out of trouble there. Way down on the apron.
Yeah, that's the 43 of Garrett Walden trying to avoid it. But unfortunately, this is one of those, for the most part, especially in the corners, this is a self-cleaning track. And even it's not always safe even to be on that apron.
That started to look like a demolition derby taking place right there.
A little bit of that for sure.
Unfortunate for some of the drivers that were caught up in that.
Yep,
a lot of guys on pit road right now. Looks like about 11 drivers. Lucas Gortman, Josh Douglas, Corey Ennis, Ryan McClure, Brennan McKee, Tony Japs, Chase Berry, Jacob Phillips, Keith's back out there now. Joe Torres, Grady Gherkin, Shane Trotter, all off track in the pits getting work done.
All right, a little bit of race recap right now. We've got 31 of 33 because obviously we're moving into overtime here. Your current leader is Eric Lombard in that 58. We have had 4 cautions so far. That number of laps will increase as this caution plays out, and 5 lead changes. So you say, who was that? Who led today? Well, so far it's been Eric Lombard, Daryl Young, Alex Daffin, and Lucas Cortman have led so far.
I'm really surprised there haven't been more leaders. The way things change around here at Daytona and the lines change momentum, but I think we've had the same group of drivers running up front most of the time.
Yeah, I also think that there's something going on with the aerodynamics on this new Chevrolet and how that's playing out with that outside line. I just don't see that outside line developing the same momentum to run down that low line.
Yeah, every now and then they do it. That would be interesting to go back and look and see if it matters, if you have a Chevy or a Ford or a Toyota leading that pack or that line, or what tendencies happen that make that work out that way.
Yeah, that's a good observation. We'll maybe do that in post race. We'll take a look at it in the broadcast booth and see if we can see something, because we'll need to look at that going into next week and see how that matters. But right now, lights are off on
Yep.
the pace car as we move to a green-white checker finish. How that works, if you're not familiar, green flag will fly. Drivers get around. We get hopefully a clean first lap. Then that white flag will fly, and that means that's the last lap. The next time by, that checker will fly. And once that white flag comes out, no wrecking or any type of on-track mishap will affect that race and that green and that checkered flag flying.
Yep. Pace car is off. Guys are through the restart zone. Here we go.
58 of Eric Lombard from the outside gets a good jump, and he immediately, along with Kai Callamore, moved down to that inside line. They noticed that's the place to be. See the 84 right there of
Yep.
Alex Daffin and Kenny Schrade right there.
Boy, you just that. Oh no, another
Oh,
wreck.
they're wrecking right behind.
Jeez. I was just getting ready to say that that outside line fell apart. Everybody was diving to the inside, and somebody somebody zigged when they should have zagged.
Yeah, I see Dakota Reeder involved, Eric Jeffers, Jordan Wenzel, and Paul Irvin all in this incident. Unfortunately, we're going to have to rack and stack that all over again after we get a couple 3 laps of caution here.
Yeah, that's the frustrating part of this, because it always takes about 4 laps to get everything reorganized, get pit stops out of the way, and get back under green again. So a lot of caution laps here at the end, and unfortunately that seems to be the nature of the beast.
We're looking at that blue and white car, that 85. That is Dakota Reeder seeing. I'm not saying that that's the nature of the cause, or we're just focusing on that. It was somewhere around that. That may not be the best place. We're just taking a stab through the field. See the 85 moving in. See the 12 of Eric Jeffers. Eric Jeffers in behind. Oh, there it is, right there.
Oh, yep. That car right in front of him, I couldn't catch the number on it. The 4 gets into the left rear corner of the 96.
Yeah, the 96 is Mike Wheel. Let's proceed a little bit here. And that 4 going through my
Brian L.
Eventually,
Jones.
yeah, Brian Jones. Eventually we will memorize this, but it ain't happening
Yep.
today. Yep, he came up a little bit, just caught in that left rear quarter panel. That is not the place.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that was a bad position for the 85, who unfortunately then collected the 12. That's Eric Jeffers and a number of other
85
drivers.
puts it in reverse. You got all flaps engaged.
Luckily, that is a relatively wide spot of the track, spot on the track, and they were able to get around a lot of that. But all right, there you have it.
A lot of cars in pit lane right now. 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9. Looks like about 12 cars in the pits. A lot of damage done there.
See the 27 of Coriolis also on pit road. Eric Jeffers coming in. He was unfortunately collected in that incident. A number of drivers, as Jeff indicated, we've got a number of drivers who are just in there now.
Yeah, Eric Lombard was able to stay out of trouble on that. Kai Collymore is right there behind him. He'll start P2.
Well, that's
Then-
this is either our second or our third green-white checker. I'm not sure. I've kind of lost a little bit of
yeah, I
track
think
here.
this one. Yeah, I think this will be the second one.
All right, and I think we only have 3. If you could just double check that, Jeff, in the stats.
Yep.
Getting a big sip from a tasty adult beverage here as we watch this race come to a close, hopefully momentarily here. Again, we appreciate all of you who have tuned in to our first broadcast of our 2026 season with the iNRS Racing Series. Again, we ask if you could join the iNRS Racing family, broadcast family, by clicking on our YouTube subscribe button and keep you up to date. So we appreciate all of that. And if you're not, there's plenty of other opportunities to see. Again, we'll be broadcasting on each and every Wednesday and Thursday night through the entire NASCAR season. Again, we mirror on both leagues the full NASCAR Racing Series.
Lights are off on the pace car. Cars are lined up 2 abreast. So we are getting ready to go back to green on our second of 3 green-white checkers. Let's hope it's our second of only 2 tonight. Cars are hitting the backstretch now.
All right, here we go. Again, Eric Lombard is our control car. This restart is on him as they make their way out of the backstretch into turns 3 and 4.
Got Kai Collymore in second. Keenan Skade in third. Alec Daffin fourth. Nolan McClurg in fifth. Darrell Young Jr. in sixth. Jacob Musau in seventh. Matthew Patak in eighth. Gary Wells in ninth. And Tyler Lim in that 10th position. Heading into turn 3 and getting ready to come out of 4 here.
All right, our 5th caution comes to a close here as this iNRS Racing Series, all 39 drivers make their way toward that start finish line. Notable here, we are missing Scott Thomas. Scott is in Vegas, but he'll join us next week. Scott is the owner and manager of this league, and with a lot of help from others, pull it together.
Eric from Lombard got a great restart up on that outside line. Ducks down to the inside in front of Kai Collingmore. That bottom line is really well organized and zipping along. They've got the momentum right now.
Yeah,
You see those guys there?
Scott Thomas, but also let's give a big shout out to Jordan Wenzel, Jackson, Lake Wheeler as admins for putting this together, and the caution
Caution's
flies
out.
again.
Oh man.
Just
I didn't
talking
even
about
see what
Tony,
happened there.
Tony Japs was involved. I'm thinking
Must have happened at the back.
It did. Then you can see Josh Douglas possibly involved in that 21. Take a quick look and see just what happened. Better look here.
See a little bit of maneuvering position there.
Right there.
Right there.
That's 15
yep.
and the 20.
15.
That
28.
is Brendan McKee in the 15, and you said the 28?
28. Joe Musow.
Here we go. Yep, there we go. Fortunately, they get collected, and then unfortunately, they're going to collect the. I don't know who that driver is.
Yeah, it's never a simple fender bender, is it?
Nope, nope. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So.
Yep. Come down. 15 comes down, takes out the 21. He goes up hard into that outside safer barrier. Then plays ping pong.
All right. Well, caution flies again here. I guess we will have one more. We'll see how this all plays out. I think we've got one more green and white checker in the bank. Were you able to see that?
Yep. That's all I was able to see was that we had 3.
All right.
So
I think this is the last chance to pull this off under a normal finish. If not, we will finish under caution on this next restart. Well, folks, you're getting an extra 10 or so laps here in past our scheduled 30, so we'll give you that. We'll call it a bonus.
Yeah, unfortunately, the bad news is that most of those extra laps were under caution.
they may as well have been. You're right. So back at race recap here, you're right. So far, 6 cautions for 17 plus whatever we accumulate here under this 6th caution.
Yeah, your top 10 is pretty much the same as it was on the last restart. We'll see if that holds true, but yeah, everybody from 25th on back, with the exception of a couple guys that are several laps down, they're all in the pits getting work done.
Well, how this matters, you're thinking why? Well, it is just it's the placement for next week. But if you had an opportunity to start, most drivers would want to start closer to the front, may not at the front, because of how that race goes with as many laps as there are. It may not matter as much, but with 100 laps, I would rather be towards the front. Let's say that.
Yep. Yes, absolutely. So it looks like, well, because we've had so many caution laps, they're going to be able to. There are several cars that have not pitted during the duration of this race, and by not pitting now, it's safe to assume that they have enough fuel to make it to the end.
Well, with the amount of caution laps we've gone, our math says you can do 38 to 42 laps with that full tank of Sunoco fuel. However, because that also includes 17 or so laps under caution, then they're good. But
yeah, plenty of fuel to the end.
Yeah. But under normal conditions, that would have been a little bit tough. But of course, we wouldn't be going 42 laps. So.
Yeah.
It's a push me, pull you kind of thing. All right, you've heard it before as we try to get this back underway. Lights are off on top of the pace car. Eric Lombard is out in front. He's got Kai Collmore there to the inside. We've seen them work together a bit.
Yeah, quite a bit. They've done a great job. And they are not teammates, but they are drafting partners and work well together. We've seen this same thing happen with Eric Lombard starting on the outside, Kai Collmore starting on the inside. Eric will get a great jump and then drop down in front of Kai, and then they're off to the races. Let's see if that holds true on this restart. Pace car is off.
Yep. All right, we're back underway. All right, Eric Lombard back up in front. Green flag flies, drops down as we expected in front of the 39 of Kai Collmore.
Yeah, the loser in that battle was Darrell Young Jr., who just keeps dropping back in that outside row, and people keep cutting in front of him.
All right, solid. The Kai Collmore on the bumper of the 58.
Getting very aggressive back there.
Alec Daffin there as well. If you're going to make a move, you got to make it now, but that white flag should fly. There it is.
There it goes.
White flag flies. Next time by, we'll have a checkered flag. I've been seeing cautions all evening here.
Now let's see how long Eric Lombard and Kai Collmore stay together, or if Kai decides to pull out. Right now he's got to stay behind him. He doesn't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, Alex Daffin to the outside is right
somebody
there.
To the inside. Somebody spin out on the apron there.
Yep, they're
Stay
going
green.
around. Well, yeah, they won't since that white flag flows. It doesn't not really matter. Whoever is what it is at this point. Here we go.
Yep.
Eric Lombard will win this race.
14 of Matthew Patak just really made a run there at the end. I thought he actually got Kai Collmore, but he didn't. Doesn't look like. Yeah, those two guys finished 0.04 of a second apart. In fact, all three top positions were a 0.04 apart. That's some tight racing.
All right. You're going to see some. All right. So what just happened is, and we'll do our best to try and make this understandable. This session that was set up for this event has got some issues with it. That was called Heat 1, unfortunately, but that is actually the end of the event. So sorry for that. Let's we're going to just run it here. Let's go ahead and give you the results. All right, while it says Heat 1 results, is actually what's happening. This is the end, the results of our duel, not the duel that's not a duel. How's that? Close enough?
That's a good way to put it.
All
The
right.
drivers are having all sorts of fun with this too, because it's hard for them to know what's going on.
Well, I think they're just going to have fun and play around. We're not covering that per
Yeah.
se, but we do know we've got our winner. Eric will Bombard Jr. will have win the heat in the duel here at Daytona. Kai Collimore finds himself in second, and Matthew Patek. You know, the guys who struggle with their names all night long, we'll have a chance to interview, and they'll correct us because we deserve that.
That's
So
right.
there's that.
Yep.
Some information on that race, just give you some updates. You saw that we've Hard Charger was, well, you know, all those numbers are not going to play because unfortunately, uh, with that event playing out like it is, we're just dealing with it. So, all right, let's see if we can find Matthew Patak here and bring him into the booth for an interview. Let's try to find Matthew. Looking down through the teams, I'm looking for anybody. I don't see him. Let's.
While you're doing that, I'll give them our viewers the top 10. You can see right there, Eric Lombard Jr. Uh, comes home the winner here. And Kai Collymore right behind him in second, Matthew Patak in third, Jacob Musau in fourth, Matthew Wheeler in fifth, Nolan McClurg in sixth, Daryl Young Jr. in seventh, Alec Daffin in eighth, Brian L. Jones ninth, Garrett Walden in the 10th position. Great race by these guys tonight. Not just the top 10, but really the whole field did a bang-up job of making it through some tough times. It was a very unfortunately had several, too many caution laps for what we were expecting, but at the same time, we saw some guys that made their way to the front and hung out there for the entire race, and one of them came home our winner, Eric Lombard Jr.
Well, I don't see Matthew in the green room, so let's go ahead and bring in Kai Collymore into the broadcast booth. Unfortunately, Matthew was, we'll see how that goes. But Kai, congratulations! It's been a while. It's been a minute since we've last talked to you, but great finish tonight.
Yeah, I know. Good to see you guys again. Glad to be back up here.
Absolutely. So obviously, we would love to grab Matthew, but unfortunately he was not in the booth. Let's. I'm going to hide this value. See if we can bring in. We'll bring out your burnout. Let me see if I can hide this. See if we see the burnout. There we go.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of a burnout. I told Eric not to do it. Save it for the main race, but he was like, "Nah. When are we going to get another one too? It's going to be hard." So live in the moment, right?
We'll give you the burnout, the burnout
absolutely.
cam. It says you're the race winner, but you're not. So there's that. But
hell
you're
no.
almost the race winner. We'll give you that. So
All these new graphics and new toys we have in the broadcast booth, it's like guys getting a new car. They want to check out all the bells and whistles, and sometimes they don't work well on the first run.
well, we'll
Nope.
give you that. So give us a little bit of your take on those races. Forget about what's happening behind you, but definitely between
Yeah.
yourself and Eric.
Well, Eric obviously did a great job at qualifying for this race. Obviously, I had a bunch of stuff left to on the table for that horrible qualifying effort. I mean, even my team owner Jordan Booth was scolding me for it, so I can't even blame him though. But Eric did a great job. So proud of him. But honestly, I think all that we had to do was just charge our way through the field. I mean, kind of got a little bit caught up in those incidents. I think it was with the 61 off turn 4, and then some guys clearing themselves off my nose, which always glad to give a little bit of an autograph. But it was a fun race. I'm just glad that we got linked up for those. How many overtimes was it? Like 5? I don't even know.
Just 3, but it felt like 5.
Well,
It
you
felt
wound up
so
with
long.
you wound up with the caution plus 3 overtimes. So there you go.
Yeah. It was long, but we waited it out. Gained a couple positions off of the cautions and got linked up with Eric, and we knew what we needed to do. I mean, we were just talking about it the whole time, and it
Yeah,
kind of
once
sucks
you
for
guys connected, it was like that nobody was going to get you apart. You guys
yeah.
stayed at the front.
Yeah, it was honestly shocking to me, especially off of turn 2 there when the entire inside line was linked up pushing, and then it was just me and Eric up top. We were tandem drafting like it's the COT. So it worked. Got him the win, got me second, and it's going to give us a good starting position for next week.
All right,
Awesome.
I'm gonna go ahead and bring. Any shout outs tonight?
Got to shout out Eric, of course. Jordan Booth, 40XLI. My 4'11" boss from work, who's a little bit emotional, but she's like 60 something, so we'll take it. And my mom for giving birth to me. So yeah.
There you go.
That's a heck of a list.
I
All
think
right.
you got them all.
All right, Kai, congratulations on your second place finish. Eric, congratulations on your win. Do us the favor of pronouncing your name for us.
It is pronounced La Bombard. I guess
All
a
right.
little less emphasis, but just La Bombard.
All right, well, we had that one
We were
right.
pretty close.
We're close.
Good.
Yeah,
I won't say it
better
was.
than everyone else.
Yeah, I wouldn't say for all of the race, but pretty most of it. Yeah. Well, congratulations on your win. You certainly played it out well, and in our opinion, because of the way that the arrow and the drafting on that outside line, you certainly found the right way to approach those restarts.
Oh yeah, me and Kai were working together great on those restarts. I mean, the plan was, just to always try to get linked up after the, restart. Obviously, we had that figured out where I chose the high lane, able to come down. Yeah, on that final restart, I hated to leave, my buddy Daryl out there. Me and him were working together great the whole race. I mean, he was a great pusher at the start of that race. It was a shame to have to leave him out, but at the end of the day, I have to go with my teammate. But hopefully not the last 1-2 of the season, but definitely a great way to start the season, even if it's not the Daytona 500.
Well, again, congratulations on your win. Obviously, we'll see you next week in the Daytona 250, and obviously this puts you up at the front. So, looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely am too. Maybe start the season with 3 wins in a row instead of 2.
There you go. I like it. I like the confidence.
All right. I know I saw Matthew is asking if we're going to interview him. Well, he needs to come into the race lobby. Be happy to bring. There he is. Well, first of all, hang on, Matthew. Eric, congratulations. Any shout outs tonight?
Want to shout out Kai Collymore. Push him in that final restart. Give one to Alex. Alec was definitely a helpful factor in that race. Daryl, my wheel that is just barely hanging on by a thread. The entire thing is bent. It's missing 2 buttons. It got me there though. Fernando Mendoza for giving me the motivation to go out here and win this. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, there's your winner tonight.
Congratulations, buddy.
Yep, Eric LeBombard, and we'll see you next week at the front for the Daytona 250 here in the iNRS Racing Series. With that, Matthew, and we're probably butchering your name. We said it was Patakak. Are we close?
It's Paytac, but it's okay.
All right,
Paytac.
Paytac.
Okay.
All right, Jeff, you need to write that down for next week. So.
Yeah.
Matt, congratulations on your third place finish tonight. There's a lot of drama in tonight's event, especially during all those restarts.
Yeah, there was a little bit of drama. I tried to hang out in the back for a little bit, being as a first time racing with this league, and just try to make my way to the front as clean as possible, but definitely got caught up in a couple of them there.
Well, you started.
Well,
go ahead.
You got through them pretty good though, Matthew, because you end up in P3, and that's not easy to do after you've been in a couple incidents.
No, not at all. Luckily, the incidents were small, and the luck was definitely on my side, which it has to be at Daytona to be up front
Yeah.
usually.
Yep.
All right. Well, any shout outs tonight, Matthew?
Just want to give a shout out to my youngest for going to bed on time so I can make the race, and my team BCR for all the help and practice they give me throughout the week, and just a shout out to the league and you guys broadcasting for putting it on and having me join with you.
You got it. All right. So if you're in the top 3 next week, join us in that race lobby, and we'll bring you in for your interview.
All right, I appreciate it, fellas.
You got it. All right, that's Matthew Paytak finishing third here in the duel, the duel that's not a duel here. Jeff, I'm looking forward to next week. We've got 39 great drivers here. We'll have 40 for next week's race. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. We just got a taste tonight. I think guys learned a little bit through the race. They learned a little bit about what the cars were going to do, handling wise and momentum wise. And I think that they're going to all be thinking about that this week. They're going to come back next Thursday, loaded for bear and ready to race hard for a lot longer distance, 250 laps. Ought to be a great race.
All right. All right, folks. Well, for Jeff and myself, we thank you for tuning in tonight to the IWM Broadcast Network. And again, next week we'll be back with the Daytona 250 here in the iNRS Racing Series. So from Jeff and myself, good night, be safe, and we'll see you next week.